course. I understand that you're probably very disappointed at the moment. Can you tell me what's going through your mind right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's the end of the year with that elimination, so for me, obviously, it's very frustrating and sad. I mean, it's easy right now since it's right after the loss to think about like all the rounds that I could have done better on, maybe I threw or that I could have called better on or led my teammates better on to support them. So there's a lot that I'm thinking about when it comes to the game because I think there are many moments that game where we should have converted certain advantages or we should have played a lot better than we did or didn't throw certain rounds, and those really hurt, of course. So for me, that's definitely something that's lingering in the back of my mind. But besides that, I mean, it is the end of the year, so that's sad. But I obviously have talked to everybody. We all had our own chat, thankful for the organization and the teammates that I had and the coaching staff that I've had on this team and just everybody that's been a part of my year. So just overall bittersweet in a sense, very bitter in the moment just because it just happened, but very grateful for the opportunity. And I just wish I could have done more for everybody.
Mm. 'Cause it was like a very, I must say, entertaining game for me. I must, I guess if for you it might have been more stressful. But the second map, where you brought it back, was very like impressive. It was more of the envy we've seen like in the upper bracket, with more control of the rounds and more like controlled aggression, I guess. Are you happy with some of the things that you showed today on the team?
I mean, yeah, you can look back and be happy. I mean, we did make a comeback, and for us, with how we lost the last game, resilience and that grit, and just be able to be a lot stronger, like the tougher moments, making sure everyone believed. I definitely saw that a lot more in this game, which everyone played with a lot more of their hearts. So I'm very proud of everyone for being able to pitch in and being able to help and support each other, even when it was, we were down or it was looking tough or we lost a lot of important rounds that we knew we should have won. So definitely very proud in that sense that our team had a lot more resilience today than the last match and official that we showed. And I think that that's probably the biggest takeaway for me that people grew individually in that way to maintain composure and to bring things back.
Mm. And also, like as you said, you're IGLing now, which is a big like step up for you. Does it hurt more as an IGL the loss? Do you think?
Yeah, I mean it definitely hurts like a lot more, Had my moment to cry and everything because again, like I control a lot of the game, I have a lot of say in the game, and I have a lot of opinions when it comes to supporting everybody and what information, communication, trying to focus on my individual plays. And I think, I could have done a lot more this series when it comes to what I should have been calling or certain rounds that I let slip away through micro decisions or my own decision making. So. It definitely hurts a lot more just because, I think there's a lot more responsibility on my shoulders of how I feel for how the rounds play out and how certain people perform. So I think I'm obviously disappointed in myself just because I know I could have done so much better for the guys because they're all a talented group of individuals. I'll always praise them in that way that there should be no questions about their talent individually. It's just, um, even early on, I said in interviews that they just need like someone who can lead them and support them in the best ways that they can and play to their strengths. And I think at some points during the season, we've shown a lot of improvement figuring that out. But towards the harder matches, which, obviously I haven't played, this is my first split IGLing, that there's a lot to learn. And I wish I could have done more to support them and be better for them.
Yeah, but I mean, seeing as it is your first split being an IGL, Envy really like as an org turned it around when you joined and started IGLing. That must feel like nice to see that it was like an improvement bringing you on as an IGL.
I didn't really join the team starting as IGL. It's kind of a switch we made in the middle of the split. But so it was a little rush decision or a lot of less preparation than maybe I would have liked. But I mean, I think that, there's even with like the change in the middle of the split, there's a lot that we still could have done and that we had a lot of potential for and that we improved just like a lot, to be honest. So for me, I just think that we definitely showed glimpses of it throughout some of these matches, even if the scorelines don't really reflect it. I mean, we can just straight up acknowledge that. I mean, our team will say it ourselves and what we truly believe in. People can tell us otherwise, but that we just through most of our games that we lost a lot to ourselves. If we lost like important rounds, just decision making wise or just mentally. So I think that in that regards, we felt very competitive towards the end of the year once we made the switch. But I'd say that overall, it was a good experience. These guys put in a lot of work and they made it a lot easy, especially with like their talent. They bail me out all the time, and also they're just talkative, fun group of guys. So definitely, very lucky to have this experience with them.
Mm. And seeing how you were like on EMA just a couple of months ago, what kind of made you feel like it was time to become an IGL? Because that was not the role you had in
Yeah.
EMEA. Where did you kind of like lean more towards that?
I mean, last year I IGL'd most of the year in Challengers when it was Ascension, when it was Split 2. I don't think Split 1 I played IGLing, whatever Tier 2 team I was on, but I think that going into this year on Gentle Mates, obviously I accepted a much different role when it comes to the dynamic, my role in general, and how I like to play and view the game, which has been a really good learning opportunity and experience for me to see different perspectives and how different structures and systems work. But I think leaving that adventure in that organization kind of made me more reflect on who I am as a player and what made me good and what made me strong and a lot of my teams successful in the past. And that was honestly my voice and opinions and just IGLing in the first place was super valuable to me and my identity as a player. So I figured that in the next team that I joined for all the teams that I tried out for that, I wouldn't shy away from my opinions or mid-round calling or feedback and things like this. Like maybe I kind of shied away from in EMEA to let others do and take responsibility for. I think that's something that I prioritize and I don't think I should ever lose. So it just makes the switch to IGLing even easier to have that kind of hierarchy in a system.
Yeah, because it's like I said, it's only been a couple of months, and it feels like you've grown a lot as a player, and you've kind of been like getting into the groove a bit more. I feel like you're fragging more in recent games. And do you think that's because you're in Americas or just because of the team you're on now?
I think it's not really an America's thing. I think it was something that I was capable of, and I honestly could have performed a lot better in an EMEA. But I think now it happens a little more consistently. I'm able to show that a little more just because of the team dynamic that we have. It makes it a lot easier when I'm like the initiator to be the third, fourth guy in trading or setting up the plays and understanding what's going on and playing to like my view of the game. So for that, it just makes it easier to get myself involved when I have so much say or information or communication to set other people up and to kind of find my way into the rounds to support them. So I'd say it's mostly a team thing, not really a region difference.
Okay. And seeing as you've tried the IGL rollout for a bit, is that something you want to continue with next year?
I mean, I think that next year would be very interesting. Obviously IGL'd last year on smokes. Now I IGL'd and role switched to initiate on this role, so I think that leaves a lot of options for me. But obviously want to play to my strengths and just see um, what teams or players or whatever it might be would be interested in playing with me if it would be IGLing, and my role can change so much given like playing with different people or even the same roster, how we look at things and take our perspectives from the losses in these matches. So for me, I think that IGLing or co-IGLing in some way would definitely be important and something that I would want for next year for myself, just because that's a big part of who I am.
Last question. Is there something like you've had obviously fans on both EMA from EMA and Americas. Is there something you want to say to them about like maybe your support through the journey going from the regions or just recent games?
Yeah. I mean, to the M8 fans, from EMEA all the way in France, Berlin, wherever anybody was, even in Santiago, the new M8 fans. But there's a lot of them and a lot of supporters that transferred and supported me through my switches, through downswings in our teams and M8, and So for that, I'm very thankful for you guys. You guys are so supportive and stuck with me for so long, and I appreciate that so much more than you guys know. And that's something that, I wish you guys got more of a return on. You guys do so much. So I hope to see Gentlemates next year in Champions and for all of the fans to be rewarded for all their dedication and support that they have for that organization because it's truly one of a kind, I believe, like a French organization's fan base. So for that, I can only thank them because they've been so loyal to me even outside of mates. For the Envy fans, obviously this isn't the original team that you guys grew up to love from Ascension and just from watching people's Twitch streams and things like this from the Rankers core. But I hope that throughout this journey that we've had in this split, obviously it wasn't the best start, that hopefully we ended a lot stronger for you guys and found games much more interesting and competitive and fun for you guys to watch, leading into a lot of our players' strengths. So for that, thank you guys for hanging in through, obviously a rough split. But next year, I hope you guys get even more, just like General Mitts. All these fans are incredible, and you guys all deserve to be rewarded for all of your dedication and support. Because truly, I feel like I barely ever notice like any negative comments, and I feel like that's honestly pretty rare. So I think I've been very lucky with the organizations I've been a part of and the fans and everything. So just thank you guys for all the positivity that you guys support me with, because it helps a lot.
Mm. Awesome. Well, I look forward very much to see what will happen to you next year. Again, thank you so much for the interview, and I hope you have a nice night.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Bye.